Afternoon, everyone. Hope you're well. Cheers, a little beer, and I'll start off by saying, obviously, thanks for all the best wishes and kind words after my match on Tuesday night. Obviously, the result was not what I wanted, but I was quite happy with the way I played. Felt quite good out there, and yeah, all the comments were very much appreciated, and thanks so much for your questions. I mean, literally hundreds of questions came in, and obviously impossible to do them all. So I apologise to anyone if your question hasn't been read out, but I picked out as many as I could, and we'll kick off, shall we? And actually, I don't know if anyone can keep me up to date with what's going on with snooker today, because I believe Matt Selt's still in it. I'm not sure. Is he still in it? Is he out? Happy birthday to Matt, by the way, if you are watching. Okay, let's kick off with the first of these questions. Again, thanks very much, so many. Shyam Bojani is asking, how many qualifying matches would I have to play if I qualify for the Crucible? I'd have to win four matches. I believe it's at the Institute of Sport in Sheffield. I think, if I'm wrong, someone can obviously point it out to me, but I think the first two matches are best of 11 and the second two matches will be best of 19. So basically got to win a tournament just to get to the Crucible. It's going to be very, very tough. Right now, at this point in time, I don't think my game's ready to qualify, but we've got a month to go, a month's more practice, a month's more match practice against people. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, 4 matches to qualify. I'm .tom. How long are you thinking of playing for? It's very hard to put a time limit on this now, actually, because if I keep improving and keep enjoying it, I'll keep playing. I'm still not planning on being full-time on the tour, playing every single event. I still think it's a matter of picking and choosing which ones I'm going to play in. It was never meant to be a full-time comeback. It was always going to be pick and choose. So yeah, but I mean, at the moment, definitely play next season, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Connor MCL89, opinions on Ronnie's shot selection in the last final. I have to admit, I think after the first couple of frames, I don't think Ronnie could be bothered with a battle against John. The way John was playing, the kind of snooker John was playing, the granite snooker that John was playing, and I don't think Ronnie felt that he could compete in those departments, and started playing the kind of shots that obviously the semi-final of the World Championship, he done a similar thing against Selby when it looked like Selby was going to win. Changed his shot selection, became more erratic, kind of put Mark Selby off his game, and consequently played 3 brilliant frames to win the semi-final and go and win the championship. Didn't work against John. He wasn't able to sort of... John was in such a rhythm, he was in such a focus all week that I don't think anything was going to sort of steer John away from his focus. I think it has to be said, losing 4 frames in 4 matches in that company, that tournament, was just one of the achievements of all time in the game. I think it was just phenomenal from John. Jerbear85, are you going to change your username to 776? No, I'm not, because obviously if I keep making centuries, I'm not going to keep changing it. But one of the goals in this comeback is to try and make 800 centuries. I mean, 888 would be amazing, because that's a very lucky number in China, and obviously I spend a lot of time in China. I love China, so that would be incredible to do 888. But 800 is a realistic target, I think. But the other aim is obviously to get to the Crucible at some stage. It would be ironic if the miracle happened. I did qualify this year, and it was still an empty Crucible, because obviously that's what I've missed, is playing in that sort of atmosphere. But yeah, I'm not going to change my Twitter handle or Instagram handle to 776. I may change it to 800 if I get there. I may wait till 888. We'll see what happens. Dan J. Stevens, how did you feel about your overall performance against Celt? I think the thing that pleased me most was that I was comfortable out there. I had nerves. I had nerves beforehand. But as soon as I got in and put a couple of balls in the first frame, I started to feel comfortable. I think my overall performance, there's definitely things to work on. I missed 2 long pots, pretty much the same shot really, into bag 1. That I have been, knocking in pretty regularly in practice, but the composure wasn't quite there in the backswing. Kind of rushed at the ball a little bit. And obviously safety play has to be tighter. My break-off in particular, I didn't find the baulk cushion once. My safety play wasn't terrible, but, on another day, opponent isn't going to put every single long ball you leave them, as Matt did the other night. I thought he played tremendous. So in a best of 7, all you need is your opponent to maybe miss 1 or 2 of those, and you're in, and you've got a chance to be in the match. But my overall performance, I was delighted with, and obviously making a century was the highlight. Flood Rick Powell, do you think you'll make it to 800 centuries? I do, actually. I think it's a realistic target. 24 to go, and if I do play more and more tournaments, hopefully more and more centuries will come. But yeah, I do think I'll make 800. When? I don't know. Anthe apologies if I've not pronounced that right. Will Judd ever be regarded as better than Ronnie? I think it's just going to be all about titles. I do think Judd is taking the game on to another level, the way he's playing, the shots he plays. And at the moment, whenever they play each other, I just can't see Ronnie beating Judd. But I think at the end of the day, it'll come down to how much he wins. But I do think he will win, a hell of a lot of titles. And, I think he'll win... I can see him winning another handful of world titles, definitely. Ross Howitt, has standard changed since you retired? I think it has, definitely. I think it's plain to see that there's more players capable of winning. You only have to look at Jordan Brown beating Ronnie O'Sullivan to win the Welsh, and the players, they're not as frightened. They don't seem to be as frightened playing the top players. The standard lower down the rankings is much better. I don't think in the 90s, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Matt Selt was ranked 35 at the start of this week. I don't think ranked 35 in the 90s played that standard of snooker. So there's no doubt down the rankings, the standard has gone up immeasurably in terms of long pot and break building and safety play. I still think at the top, when you see the top players playing, there's not... I don't think when the top players play the best, there's some performances obviously that are out of this world, but generally, I think my game from the 90s would have stood up pretty well against the top players now. Andy Preston 147, in your prime, when you were down in the shot, were you purely in the moment? I think so. I think when you have 100% confidence in your ability, and that means you don't think about missing, you don't think of the consequences of taking a shot on, whereas later in your career you've had a few scars from missing shots and being punished, that there's doubt in there. I always say when I'm commentating, I like to see players going down and, if they're going to take a pot on, take it on, fully committed, and that's the right choice. Your first shot choice is the best one, and when you're on the shot, be fully committed to it. It's not always easy, especially if you missed a few. But back then, in your prime, you had no thoughts of missing, so you just go for the shots, and you're not thinking about anything down in the shot apart from potting the ball and getting on the next one. Aiden_Borg, how was it playing in the Gibraltar Open? I think what I'm looking forward to in the World Championship qualifying is it's going to be a lot more low key. There was lots of obviously publicity in the build up to this Gibraltar Open, partly with the fact that it was, I was supposed to play in the Welsh. There was a mix up with the entry. I was playing in a Pro Series. There was a mix up because I wanted to play in the March part of that event. I was put in the January draw, so pulled out. So it was kind of stop, start. I was getting stick from all the players. When is this happening? So there was a huge build up to it. obviously publicity in the media. I had 2 camera crews follow me backstage before the match, so everything was kind of high profile in terms of the event and what was going on behind, which I didn't mind as the first event. I was very nervous, even putting my suit on before. I was nervous and bit apprehensive, but as I say, the World Championship will be a lot more low key, and just be there to play snooker and nothing else. Snooker Lover 22, when are you coming to India? Well, when things in the world change and I'm invited, I'd love to come back to India. I've been there once, Delhi. I think I won a tournament, actually. I think out of the 8 players, I was the only one that wasn't ill. Llama 147D, when is your next match? Next match will be in the qualifiers. I think it's April 7th it starts. Again, could be wrong, but and it might not be the date where I play, but I think that's when the qualifiers start. Nick Brands 91, what are your personal expectations in your comeback? Any targets? I'm trying to keep my expectations low in terms of I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm certainly not going to say I'm going to win anything, win this, win that. That's completely out of the equation. I'm just going to try and enjoy it. But me being me, if my form continues to improve, my expectations are going to rise. So I'll have to sort of try and keep a lid on that in the meantime. But as I said, targets, play at the Crucible, try and make 800 centuries, and just try and enjoy playing. Try and play good snooker. See what happens. Asher 147. Why do we take shots for granted and miss them a lot of the time? Well, you kind of answered your own question there. Because you take them for granted, you don't concentrate. You don't pay enough attention. That's why you miss easy shots. That's why you see professionals on TV missing easy shots. They take them for granted. They don't, they're thinking about position, or they think, well, I'm not going to miss this. I'll just concentrate where the white ball's going. That's why you answered your own question. Ed Reach, is that the best Matt Selt has ever played? It's certainly the best he's ever played against me. That's the 3rd time we've played. It's now 2-1 to him. When he beat me in Bendigo in the Australian Open, my last year of playing, he beat me 4-1, I think, or 5-1, and he didn't play as well as that. I didn't see when he won the Indian Open how well he played. He must have played well to win a competition, but I thought he was excellent. Knockaway, Crucible this year, ? Possible, ? It's possible, but I'm not, as again at this point in time, I'm not that confident that my game's going to hold up. As I said, my game still needs work, long putting, safety, etc. But listen, it's always possible. GCC 161, are you as motivated to practice as much as in the 90s? Well, I'm never going to do the same routines. I'm never going to play 5-6 hours a day. Certainly on my own. If I have games against people, obviously you play longer, but no, I'll never do the same practice regime. I don't think I just haven't got it in me to do that anymore. So whether that'll be cause a drawback remains to be seen. Hassan Rajput 1994, how to know which cue action is better for myself? Copy someone or make my own? I think as a beginner it's cool to watch the players. That's how I learned, and kind of get the basics right, like a nice rhythm in your cue action, maybe a nice pause, and deliver the cue smoothly. But again, you've got to have your own technique, your own style. But certainly if you're a beginner learning, watching the top players is definitely a good way to sort of start off your technique. Tony_Dowds, in your prime, in your opinion, how would your game fare up in today's game? I think it would fare up pretty well. I think I was I was a winner in my prime, and that's the most important thing. You've got to have that killer instinct to win. And the way I scored, it's there's everyone seems to be making centuries these days, and that was my strength, was scoring when I got in. My long game was good. I think my bottle stood up. I think I would have fared all right in today's game. John Yalache, how does it feel to be back? It feels good. As I say, it felt good out there. It felt good to walk into a match arena. Okay, there was no crowds, but there was still tension there. There was still atmosphere. Obviously, playing a mate was made it give it a little bit of an edge, but yeah, it feels good. Aditi 2701, which was the recipe you first cooked and which one flopped? I think everyone's first recipe is spaghetti bolognese, isn't it? Something simple, you can fling things in a pot and it normally turns out alright, it's normally foolproof. Which one flopped? I mean, MasterChef. Do we need to go there? That flopped. J Highland 03, what's going to be your walk-on music and can we pick it? What a great idea. If I do need walk-on music, I might throw it out there to you guys. See what comes back. Andrew James Mitchell, do you have somewhere to practice regularly? I do, fortunately. I've got my own table and it's in a club that's actually, well, obviously it's closed, but I can gain access and be in there on my own all day just practicing. So very fortunate that I've got that facility. Kyle Miller, got Johnny Walker Blue for my 30th. Have I tried it? Well, lucky boy, Johnny Walker Blue. That's yeah, nice drop of whiskey. Not really to my taste. Little bit peaty for me. But yeah, very very nice. The only time I've tried it is on Emirates Airlines in first class. And before you all start screaming, I was upgraded with my miles. Matt Sell actually goes in first class all the time, by the way. Seat 1A. Paul Hardy 746. Do you like the venues the matches are being played at? I think obviously I don't think anyone likes the fact there's no crowds in any sport. But I think a huge hand has to go to Milton Keynes. It's, you know, you arguably call it the home of snooker now. But it's, you know, without that place, you know, we might not have been able to have any snooker tournaments on. So it's been fantastic for snooker, the Marshall Arena. It really has. But it'd be nice to get back to I think the next tournament I work for ITV is at the Celtic Manor, the Tour Championship. So it'd be nice to go somewhere different, and then obviously qualifiers are in Sheffield. Ryan Merv, favourite cocktail? I'm going to go margarita. Love a Negroni. Is that cocktail? I don't know. M. Degani, favourite sneakers brand? Hogan. Mark C147, has safety play changed since you've been away? I think safety's changed a lot, and one of the reasons I think I'll have to change or improve my safety play is when I was playing, I just thought get the cue ball back to the bulk end and it'll be safe. Whereas obviously it's not, because you know players are knocking in long pots all over the place. So I'm going to have to think a lot more about my safety shots, and I think certainly the top players, I think their safety is watertight. They're always looking for the most awkward place to put the cue ball, rather than just get it past the bulk line. Miles MUFC, most famous person you've met? Roger Waters, Pink Floyd. James _Sloan 85, first restaurant you'll visit after lockdown? That's a tough one. Probably just my local around the corner, the Carpenters, probably be the first place I go. R8W100, how did making the first ton back feel? It felt great. Even before the frame was actually secure, I was thinking about making a century. Because I was starting to feel good. I was starting to, positional shots were quite good. And then when obviously I potted the green to try and open the red and black, there was 3 reds left, and snooker myself on the red I was playing for. I had to put a nice one to the left middle. As soon as I went on, I thought, yeah, I'm going to make the century here. So yeah, it felt great. Poppy 150804, favourite practice setup? I just like practice setups simple. I mean, I go to practice rooms now, and there's lots of different figurations of red balls and stuff, and they're quite complicated, and obviously they work in their own way, but I just, line up or the tee, something simple. But I think the most important thing with practice routines that I do is just to clear the table. I don't think you should make them too difficult. I think clearing the table is the important thing, because if you keep clearing the table in practice, the theory is, and used to work for me, when you get in a match, you're going to clear the table when you get a chance. Heathcote David, are you going to play next season? If you do or do not qualify for the Worlds, yeah, whatever happens in the World, I'll play next season. Kind of written off in terms of results, the Gibraltar Open and the World, as easing myself in. I read an interview that Ronnie said that it's going to take me a good few tournaments to sort of get used to it again, and I think he's right. I'm not going to be able to just come straight back in and feel totally at ease in that environment. It's going to take me, a few tournaments. So I'm going to play next season, whatever happens in the World. If I get beat in the first round. Xavier Jacks, where were the dumplings from? Just a Chinese supermarket in Aldershot, in the freezer department. Just buy them freezer, cook them from frozen, bit of chili oil, done. Beautiful. It's one of the things I miss most about eating in China is the dumplings. Love them. Memi Chamza, who's from Bosnia, said hello to Bosnia. Never been to Bosnia. What is the most important thing for improving beginners' games? Cue ball control is the most important thing in snooker. So any routine that you can practice your cue ball control, as I say, lineups, even just clear the colours up in a row 6 times. When you get to the black, pot the black, you've got to get back in position for the yellow. Again, improve that cue ball control, that's the secret. I am Richard Hill. What about Jimmy beating Bingham? How's he playing in practice? Yeah, an incredible result. I don't really pay attention to many snooker tournaments that I'm not working on, so I don't really know what's going on. I don't know who's left in this tournament today, but I heard Jimmy beat Bingham. Fabulous result. And I've had 2 or 3 sessions with Jimmy, and he still plays a very high standard. I think he's got to chill out and just maybe not try as hard. I think that's definitely what's holding him back in terms of qualifying for the Crucible. I think, like me, he's just down to play there one more time. Galligan Gary, can John Higgins go on and win the World Championship? Well, I think the way he played at that Players' Championship, there's no doubt in my mind if John turns up with that game, he's going to be the one to beat, or one of the ones to beat. I think it's between Judd Trump Judd Trump is still my tip. I think he won it last year. Was a bit of disaster for him. Didn't play well at all. I think this year he'll be hungry to win the World Championship again. But John Higgins, if he turns up with that game over long frame matches, it's just so strong. Nobody can discount Ronnie. He said he loved it so much last year with no crowds. Looks like it's going to be the same situation this year. So he will be one of the favourites. Selby will be up there. Neil Robertson, he's kind of, I don't know what's happened to his game. He looked fantastic first match of the Players, but then didn't look good the second match, so he needs to obviously step up. But I'm going to go for Judd Trump for the World Championship. Guys, that's me. I've managed to get as many questions in. There were so many more, but I'd be here till 9 o'clock tonight. But I really appreciate all your questions that you sent in, and again, all your best wishes regarding my match on Tuesday. We'll try and definitely do another one before I do the qualifiers at the World, so see how my game improves between now and then. But thanks for joining this live, thanks for your questions, and stay safe.